Hello, ladies. I am so excited to be here with you today, Magnificent Motherhood. I am so grateful for the opportunity to share with you just a couple of things to remember about loving yourself as a woman and about being a magnificent mother. I want to thank Serify in Action for allowing me this chance, Chastity for allowing me this opportunity to share with you. And my topic is cool. Listen, let me tell you, this topic is so exciting and rewarding, especially because it's exactly the space that I'm in. And so I'm going to share with you just my journey and some ideas and some thoughts about how we can be better. And so my topic is a mother's self-love to reclaim your heart's desires. A mother's self-love to reclaim your heart's desires. How many of us have desires? All of us, right? All of us have some things that we want to be. Let's be honest. All of us have some ideas, some thoughts, some areas in our life where we're like, man, I got some stuff inside of me that I want to get out and I just don't know how to do it. I don't even know where to begin. Let me tell you, today is your day. Just that simple. Today is your day, because the goal with this is to talk to you about how to reclaim your heart's desires. So first and foremost, let me tell you that it's okay to have desires. Totally okay. I know. We live in a world and a society where there's gender inequity and racial inequity, and we're trying to be the best mothers. I mean, we're trying to raise emotionally healthy adults. Lord, that's a challenge in and of itself. If you're married, you're trying to be a good spouse. If you're in a relationship, you're trying to be a good partner. We are trying so hard to do all of these things, so much so that if you're working, you're trying to be a good boss, or you're trying to be a good employee. If you're a business owner, you're trying to be a good business owner. We are trying so hard to do so many things that we have forgotten sometimes about ourselves. We live in a society now where we're really talking a lot about self-love, right? Really talking about loving yourself and knowing yourself and believing in yourself. But most of us, for some of us especially, it's hard to do that when you're realizing that I can't really love myself because I let myself go. And not in a physical way. Now, some of us have done that too. Hello, me too. But it's not even about the physical. It's about the emotional part. I've let that go. It's about the strength that I once had. I've let that go. It's about the joy I once had. I let that go. It's about the belief in myself that I let that go. So I'm telling you today, friend, it is okay to love yourself enough to reclaim your desires. It is okay to love yourself enough and to want more for yourself so that you reclaim your heart's desires. So do me a favor before we start. Close your eyes. And while your eyes are closed, I want you to think about your heart's desires. And I'm not talking about what you desire for your children or what you desire for your business or your loved ones or your spouse or your finances. I'm talking about you. What do you desire? Get it in your mind. What do you desire? What is that thing that you may have never shared with anyone? What is that thing that you may have never told anyone? What is that thing that you are afraid to even think about? What is that desire? Think about it. Now, on the count of 3, I want you to take a big breath. 1, 2, 3. Now let it out. And right now what you have done is you have exhaled all of that fear, all of that anxiety, all that trepidation, all that uncertainty, all those questions about the desire that you have. You've let that out, and now you've made space to actually begin that exploration. So I'm going to give you 3 points on how to truly experience that self-love and walking and reclaiming your heart's desire. Number 1, acknowledge that the heart's desire has always been there. Ooh, what do you mean? The heart's desire has always been there. How do I know that? Because this topic is reclaiming your heartt's desire. And so to claim means to retrieve or to recover. So if you're reclaiming, that means you are recovering or retrieving what was already in you. So the first thing about your self-love to reclaim your heart's desire is recognizing that that heart's desire didn't go anywhere. How do I know it didn't go anywhere? It's because you stay up at night thinking about it. How do I know you didn't go anywhere? Because you keep thinking I need to pull that book off the shelf so that I can do some more work on it. How do I know it didn't go anywhere? Because you're here today to even talk about magnificent motherhood. So that desire didn't go anywhere. So acknowledge that it was always there. And you already had it. What do you mean, Joy? You already had your heart's desire. How do I know? It's because it's been in you. Because even the Bible says when the Lord created you in your mother's womb, he knew you. So that means whatever he desired for you was already planted in you. So you already have your heart's desires. You already have access to them. You already have the keys. You already have the power. You already have the ability. But it's so hard for us to accept that. So here's the thing. I already had it. Now, yes, decisions, life, children, money, education, trauma, all of that may have stifled my heart's desires, but it's always been there. It's in me right now. My heart's desires live in me. And for many of us, when I asked you to do that exercise, that may have been the first time that you allowed yourself to even think about what you wanted. And that's okay, because you didn't have to spend time thinking about it from a place of, what do I want? You've known those things. You've known the things that you've known your heart's desires. And this was the opportunity for you to get that in your mind. And so now, friend, that you've got that in your mind, you have the ability to do it because it's already been there. You've always had it. Isn't it cool? It's okay. Here's an example. So it's like you looking for your keys, right? You know the keys are somewhere in the house. Lord, you know the keys are somewhere in the house. You don't know where they are, but you know they're in the house. How do you know? Because you drove the car, came home, parked the car in the garage, wherever you parked it, and you walked in the house. So you know the keys are in your house. You just got to find them. So they may be lost, but they're not gone. Got it? So your heart's desires may be lost, but they're not gone. How amazing is it to know that you already have your heart's desires? They're already in you. It's now about birthing those things out of you so that you can see the manifestation of what it is you want. So first thing to know and acknowledge is that you already had your heart's desires. Now, you may not have done all the things necessary to get them, but you've already had them. Now the goal is to take the steps. So how do I do that, Joy? Number 2, you've got to allow yourself to dream. I've got 8-year-old twins. You heard that. And when I ask Shelby and Cindy what they want to be, it varies from day to day. Okay. One time, one of them wanted to be a tattoo artist. Now she's great at drawing, but I'm like, come on, girl, let's go further. But she wanted to be a tattoo artist. One of my children wants to be a cheerleader. One of them from time to time wants to be a dancer or a teacher. One time they wanted to be policewomen. Here's the thing. It was all the ability to dream. In other words, the sky is the limit for them, and they're exposed to so many things. They get to choose what they want for the moment and see themselves in it. Here's the thing about you, sis. Your heart desires, you got to see yourself there. And I'm not talking manifestation, writing it on the wall and all of those. I do believe that if that works for you, great. I'm not a huge put it on the wall manifestation kind of person, only because if I don't do anything with it, it's a pretty picture on my wall. And if it's there too long, tape marks and all that stuff. And now I messed up my wall if I'm not doing anything. So I believe manifestation is a good visual reminder to do something. But here's the thing. Allow yourself to dream. What is it that you want? What are the things that you desire? It's nothing wrong with believing in those things and seeing those things for yourself. It's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I want to do this. Gosh, I want this. And I'm not saying dreaming from the perspective of, if I win the lottery tomorrow, what am I going to do with that money? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about allowing yourself to live in the moment of the beauty of what's in your heart. Allowing yourself to hear and to see and to understand what's in your heart. There are so many things inside of you that are beautiful, so many opportunities for growth and development. There's so many opportunities to birth great things inside of you. Those desires that you have, what you see for yourself, allow yourself to embrace it. We've been told so many times, you can't have that, you can't do that, you're not going to be that person. And many of us have lived under that stigma that we're not enough, that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, that we don't have the right connections, that we don't have the right input or the right circumstances. But sis, let me tell you right now, It's okay to dream, because here's the thing. When you dream, you're open to possibilities. And the things that you have in your heart are all possible through Christ. First, all possible through Christ. And the things that you have in your heart are so very doable. Now, I'll say this. When you dream, don't get caught up in the how. Part of why some of us are stifled in our dreaming is because we're in the how. How do I know? Let me tell you. Same child that wants to be a tattoo artist. Great artist. She wants to draw. She's really good at drawing. Okay. So when she tells me she wants to be a tattoo artist, first thing I start thinking is, how did you come up with that? Then I'm like, how are you going to be a tattoo artist? Then I'm like, how are you going to make money being a tattoo artist? Then I'm like, how you going to do this? And are you going to even have tattoos? So I start even with my child thinking about all the limitations that could happen even with her dream. But as her mother, it's my job to say, baby, you can do whatever you want to do. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. And I believe in you. It is time for us to say that to ourselves. Joy, you can do anything you want to do. I believe in you. If you put your mind to it, it can be done. I want you to say that to yourself. So allow yourself to dream, because it's possible. It's possible. Whatever your heart's desires are, it's possible. Whatever you think about, it's possible. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in a second, but it's possible. So allow yourself to explore. Think big. Because here's the thing. When God created you, he didn't create you small. He didn't create you with something little inside of you. He created you with a big voice, a big opportunity, big desires. Let me tell you, my desires when I started Speaking of Joy, it was a leadership company. My goal was to help leaders be better leaders and develop them. But the more and more I did that work, the more and more I realized, you know what, at the end of the day, I love God and I love to see women win. Two things. So it was really hard for me to continue to talk about leadership when my heart's desire was to see women win and to talk about God. So here's what I did. I started to dream, what if I could talk to women? What if I could talk to them about the Lord? And not from a pulpit, not necessarily from a pulpit, but what if I could blend those two things together? And when I started to think about it, I created this version of Speaking of Joy, which encourages women to unleash the power within and walk in their God-given purpose. And that's what I do. And I began to dream about it. I began to see it manifest. And God has allowed clients to come my way and women to come work with me because I was able to dream. And not that I was dreaming aimlessly or just out in the world thinking of anything. It's truly because I had a desire to change the lives of the women around me. There are some desires you have right now that are unique to you. But let me tell you, not only are they unique to you, they are life changing. So the desires that you have are not only just for you. Yes, they're going to help you. They're going to bless you. They're going to uplift you. But the desires that are inside of you are really to bless other people. So you can't allow yourself to stay and not love yourself enough to reclaim it. Because if you do, not only are you missing out, there are people around you who are missing out. So allow yourself to dream. And dream big, because God is a big God. Opportunities that he has for you, you don't even know right now. There are doors. What I see all the time in my business, and I tell women and people that I work with, there are doors that I don't even see. And I'm talking about, like, it looks like a wall to me. And the minute that I get up there, it's like a trap door. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I get to that door, and the minute I get there and let my hand on it, it opens. And that's because my desire is to see God's women change. My desire is to transform their lives. And so God creates that space. So I allow myself to dream because, listen, when my dream and my desire get with God's timing and his purpose for my life, only great things will happen. So number one, recognize and acknowledge that you've always had it, baby. You've always had those desires and you've always had the power to do it. Number two, allow yourself to dream. It's okay. And then number three, you've got to align your heart desires with God. Believe it or not, you have a car, I have a car, we have cars. I can get in my car and I can go to the gas station. Okay? And when I go to the gas station, it tells me what type of gas to put in my car for best quality. Okay? So in my Honda Palisade, it recommends that I use Supreme. Now, why do you think it recommends that I use Supreme? Because I can use unleaded, and Lord knows with these prices, I need to be putting unleaded in there. But I can use unleaded. But if I use unleaded, it's not going to go as far, and it's not going to be the same driving experience as it would be if I use Supreme. Does that make sense? So here's what I'm saying. When you align your desires with God, that's how you see yourself go far. That's how you see the manifestation of the good things that he's promised you. And it's easy to do it on your own, but if you could do it on your own, you would have already done it. So these desires that you have, the ones that you thought about when I asked you to, the ones that you have not spoken, those, friend, are the desires that you need to align with God. Let me tell you, Proverbs 37:4 says, delight yourself also in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Here's the thing about that. In order for me to have those desires of my heart, there's some work I have to do. I cannot in any way, shape, or form expect just things to just come my way, the desires to just be filled without having the ability to truly see God and align my purpose and my desires with him. Okay, so here are the things I got to do. And this is in Psalm 37. I've got to trust. If I want to open up my heart's desires, I've got to trust. I've got to trust that God's got a plan for me. I've got to trust that he knows what's best for me. I've got to trust when the doors close. I've got to trust when the relationships are over. I've got to trust when I lose my job. I've got to trust when I don't know what to do. I've got to trust in order to see my heart's desires manifest. The next thing I've got to do is commit. These are all in Psalm 37. I've got to commit, meaning I have some heart's desires. I got to do the work to get there. Plain and simple. I got to do the work to get there. That means that I've got to spend time developing my business plan. That means I've got to spend time writing. That means I've got to spend time making connections. That means I've got to spend time in the Word of God and praying and fasting for direction. I've got to commit. Some of us don't have the desires of our heart because we don't want to commit. I want to lose weight, but I don't want to go to the gym. And I don't want to eat right. So I'm in a quandary, right? Because I'm not doing either one. But I've got to commit. So in order for me to align my desires and see God do those things and bring them to pass, I absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, have to commit. And I'm not just committing to others, but I'm committing to myself. Because here's the thing, self-love is about commitment to myself. Self-love is about loving myself enough to do what's necessary so that Joy can be the best mother I need to be the best sister, the best wife, whoever I want to show up as. I've got to commit to that. So I can't just say, I want to do this, and this. Do it, Lord. Or I say, I want to do this, and this, and I'm not willing to do any work. I've got to commit. And then the last thing I got to do is rest. Ooh, listen, sis, self-love requires rest. It does not help that I have everything that I want, every desire, and I have nothing to show for it because I'm dog tired. I got a great business, but I'm too tired to give my children any love. I've got a great business, but I don't give my husband any attention. So I've got to learn to rest. And resting doesn't mean sleeping. Rest means being still. Rest means being at peace. Rest means being quiet. Rest means taking a break. And so if I want to align with God, with my desires, I've got to trust him. I've got to commit, but I got to know when to rest. And I have got to align with God, because the only way that those desires truly come out is when I walk with God. So what am I saying to you today? I'm saying you already have the power to reclaim your heart's desires, but acknowledge that they're already there. And then you've got to allow yourself to dream. And then you got to align with God. And let me say this before I close. God never denies our heart's desire except to give us something better. So even in some of those heart's desires, it's okay that it hasn't manifested. Maybe God's got something better for you, but I challenge and encourage you today to walk in that excellence of motherhood, to love yourself and love yourself enough to reclaim your heart's desires. God bless you and thank you so much.